if Descendants 2 was made in the 2000s. Descendants 2 premiered July 21st, 2017, 2 years after the first movie released. The sequel focuses on Mao's struggles to adjust to her life in Oregon, and with living a new life of good instead of evil, and also her duty as royalty, with her now being the girlfriend of King Bin. And due to these overwhelming fears, she eventually makes the decision to return to the Isle of the Lost, only to find out that Uma, Ursula's daughter, has taken over as queen and has a plan to break down the barrier. Thanks to the success of the first movie, the hype around the sequel drew in 5.3 million viewers on premiere night. It is also my personal favorite out of the entire series. This video will be focusing in on the recasting of the new characters that this sequel brings. I will also still be giving my opinion on what the wardrobe and music would have sounded like in this movie in the 2000s. If you'd like to see my recasting of the first movie, there will be a link in my description, or you can go to my channel. I only have a few videos up. Please keep in mind that my choices for the recastings will be sticking within the already established Disney stars of the 2000s. Now let's dive in and get some clarity. Dizzy is the daughter of Drusilla Tremaine, who is one of the wicked stepsisters of Cinderella. Dizzy lives and works as a hairdresser and stylist for her awful grandmother, Lady Tremaine, but she's very talented and does indeed like her job. She's very sweet, creative, and a loving girl, and completely admires and loves Evie. Anna Cathcart does a great job at bringing her to life, but it honestly wasn't too hard to find someone that is equally as talented and bright. The actress I choose to play Dizzy is no other than
Erica's Angel!
Madison Pettis. Madison was a huge child actress for Disney back in the day. She of course played Sophie, the president's daughter, in Cory in the House, and though this isn't a Disney Channel movie, it still is a Disney movie that she is very well known for. She of course plays Peyton, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's character's daughter in The Game Plan. And just a small fun fact in case some of you didn't know, she also comes back to Disney Channel to play Leo's love interest in Lab Rats. But Madison would just be perfect for this role. She exudes confidence, loveliness, bubbliness, which is all core parts of Dizzy's character, and she would absolutely be adorable in this role. Played by Dylan Playfair, Gil is the son of Gaston from Beauty and the Beast, but I promise you, you probably would never be able to guess it. His personality is almost completely opposite of Gaston. He's not the brightest, he's very impulsive, though he does have good intentions. He's also very easily manipulated, with him being under the constant control of Uma and her sidekick Harry Hook. Yet he is very loyal and has a meaningful understanding of friendship. The actor I picked to play Gil is Chris Warren. Everyone knows him from High School Musical, where he plays Zeke Baylor, the lovable, unconventional jock who has a passion for baking and displays a very big heart. Though Zeke probably isn't as dim-witted as Gil, he does definitely have moments where he is, a little airy. Not to mention that a lot more of the aspects of his personality, in my opinion, almost match up perfectly with Gil's. Chris can also dance, as we've seen him do so within the High School Musical franchise. He may not be the best dancer or singer ever, but he does enough to blend into the background, and that's all that's really needed for this role. Played by Thomas Doherty, Harry is the son of Captain Hook from Peter Pan. His personality in particular is honestly a good mix of a lot of the villain kids. He's charismatic like Jay, as well as sneaky and conniving like Mao, and he's always looking for trouble. Along with his crew in the movie, calls himself a pirate, and much like Gil, he's very loyal to Uma and considers her to be his captain. And as the movies progress, we also get to see a softer, kinder side of Hook, where his flirtatious personality also shows peaks of vulnerability. I genuinely had a hard time casting Harry. He has so much charisma and chemistry with every single character in the movies. And while the task of finding somebody who would do a great job at embodying his character was already hard enough, he also has a lot of parts in the songs in these movies where he raps or sings a little. In terms of Disney Channel stars, there aren't too many people to really pick from, but I did end up with 3 options. My first option is Joe Jonas. Though his acting wasn't the strongest in Camp Rock or even his show, I do feel like giving him a more dynamic character would make him have to think more so outside the box. Honestly, I just think he would have a lot of fun with this type of character. He already has a lot of natural charisma. I truly feel like he'd be able to pull off the rap parts of the songs. Also seeing Joe Jonas, at least 2000s Joe Jonas, and dark eyeliner is definitely an image that's swaying my decision. My second option is Ryan Marion. He would definitely have the charisma and charm of this character. His acting would also most likely be a lot stronger than Joe's, but whenever it comes to the dancing, rapping, and singing aspects of these movies, I'm not too sure if he would be able to pull it off, but that is what training is for. There are several actors who have been casted in musicals that weren't the best vocally or dance-wise, but they practiced and they were trained. My last option is by far my favorite one. Riley Smith is probably not that well known in the world of Disney Channel. He's only in one Disney Channel original movie where he plays the love interest to the main character in Motocrossed, which is a very underrated movie in my opinion. The way he acts in this role and also just the way he looks is extremely Harry coded. Not only is he an amazing actor, he's naturally charismatic and very charming. Much like Thomas, he's one of those actors that just has so much chemistry with anyone he interacts with on screen. But again, the one issue here is that I'm not too sure if he can dance or sing. Uma is the daughter of Ursula and the leader of the pirate crew, as well as a self-proclaimed Queen of the Isle. She's very outgoing, smart, confident, and though sometimes she can be brutal and conniving towards her enemies, it all stems from her being very vocal and aware of injustice, especially among the villain kids who have been left on the Isle after being promised to be brought to Auradon. And being brought to life by the amazing China Anne McClain, who was already an established Disney star from the early 2010s. I knew I had to find someone who could easily embody the presence that China brings to Uma, not to mention the fact that China is incredibly talented in so many different areas. My first pick would be one of the queens of Disney Channel, Raven-Symoné. She has the presence, she's an amazing physical actress whenever it comes to comedy or drama. She can dance, sing, and rap. I could definitely hear her singing What's My Name, but there is one thing that someone did bring to my attention, which is the fact that Raven would be a little bit older than everyone else in the cast. And while I definitely do see this and understand this, I still think that there's a good mix of different ages within the people that I have casted that it wouldn't really make that big of a difference. But because Uma is constantly paired and placed on opposite ends with Mao, I do think that it would be a little bit awkward. So the second option, which someone in the comments brought to my attention, Keke Palmer is also a really good option, not only because again she's an amazing actress and she can sing, she can dance, but also because she would be in the age range of the actors that I picked for the villain kids, making the lineup look more coherent. In the 2000s, Keke Palmer was starring in Jump In alongside Corbin Bleu, which is the only thing she did with Disney Channel before moving on to Nickelodeon to star in her own show, even though Disney Channel was setting her up to be in her own show, but sadly it was cancelled before it ever aired. But back to why Keke Palmer is a good fit for Uma. She has all the attributes that I explained Raven to have. She's a fantastic performer, actress, singer, and dancer. In a way, Keke Palmer in the 2000s and early 2010s reminds me a lot of China. Since majority of the characters in Descendants 3 stay the same besides a few, I thought that I would include this character in particular. Celia is the daughter of Dr. Facilier from Princess and the Frog. She is initially mischievous, but as we get to know her character, she is strong, shows a lot of courage, is deep in her morality, and she truly cares about her loved ones. She is also best friends with Dizzy, and the perfect person to play this character is no other than little China Anne McClain. So it seems like no matter what, she would find her way to this franchise. While she already had a very strong film career at a young age, when it comes to her Disney Channel career, during this time, she was already making small appearances on some of the shows, like Wizards of Waverly Place, Hannah Montana, and Jonas. Casting China in this role honestly makes things feel full circle. The outfits in the 2017 version take a huge inspiration from Pirates, with a nice Disney villain twist to it, and ironically, in terms of styling trends, pirates were a pretty huge thing within the 2000s thanks to the franchise Pirates of the Caribbean that released in 2003. The style for the original villain kids and the kids of Auradon would most likely stay within the same aesthetic that I gave them in the first video. First starting with Dizzy and Celia, I see them taking a lot of inspiration from the 2000s tween era of clothing, a lot of layering and uses of bright bright colors, which is already very on brand for both of them. In terms of tween styling brands in the 2000s, I definitely see them incorporating a lot of the looks that the store Justice was selling during that time. I could see them going for the crop shirt with the already attached undershirt, even the crop jackets with skirts and leggings, or jeans. Celia would probably go for a more colorful leather look with the addition of belts and rhinestones, and those high top Converse sneakers that everybody loved during that time. And with her being played by China, that would totally make sense. Like Disney's original wardrobe, she would incorporate more of a blue jean look, and the paint splattering effect that Disney already wears was actually a pretty popular thing during the 2000s as well. These outfits honestly sound very similar to what a lot of the Disney stars were already wearing during that era, with all the leather, the layering, the bracelets, necklaces, and even for both of them, sticking to the 2000s and late 90s hairstyles, which again is something Disney already kind of does in the original franchise. Now next with Gil and Harry Hook, both of their styling is pretty similar in the movies, but Gil wears a lot more sleeveless, tighter shirts, and Harry takes a lot more inspiration from Captain Hook with the longer coats and looser tops, but they both wear fitted pants. For the most part, their outfits would be pretty similar in the 2000s, which again would take a lot of inspiration from Pirates of the Caribbean. I could see Harry taking inspiration from Captain Jack Sparrow, but at the same time, I could also see both of them taking a more modern spin on the pirate look that again was really popular among men's styling. I see Harry wearing a lot of scarves, tight bleach wash jeans, sharp shoulder collared coats, and flowy blouses. And for Gil, same type of jeans, maybe more ripped, and a sleeveless collared shirt. Also adding in some ankle high or calf high army boots. For Uma, I see her going in the more boho or bohemian chic fashion route that was a popular styling trend within women. I see her wearing long ruffled skirts with belts, long sleeve flowy shirts. Honestly, those similar blue boots that she was already wearing in the original, because those kind of boots were also pretty popular in the 2000s, keeping her with the same color palette of aquas, blues, and greens, and keeping her with braids, but giving her micro braids with beads. When it comes to the music, I honestly don't think too much would really change. A lot of the genres she used were already very popular, either during the 2000s or just within Disney Channel. I see this second movie in terms of sound for the songs going in the direction of being a mix between the Cheetah Girls, High School Musical, and Camp Rock, with them taking inspiration of pop rock from Camp Rock, the R&B pop hip hop sound from the Cheetah Girls, and the more Broadway pop style of High School Musical. But that's all for this video. I hope everyone enjoyed this. I will not be doing Descendants 3. Descendants 4 Rise of Fred has definitely been brought up in the original comments, and I probably will do that one. And if I do, it will most likely be if Descendants 4 was made in the early 2010s. I also plan to do probably do other franchises as well within Disney Channel, like High School Musical, Zombies maybe as well. I just want to give a fair warning that these videos may become repetitive in terms of casting, and that's just because I'm only picking within the Disney stars that existed within each of these eras. So you'll most likely start seeing the same faces in some of these castings, but I will do my best to be as diverse as I possibly can. But if someone fits the role, then they fit the role. And speaking of that, if you have any other personal castings that you would like to see for this movie in particular that either you don't agree on or you do agree on, please let me know in the comments. Thank you all so much for watching, and with that, I hope you were given some clarity.